Whoa, what is that thing? Is that a new secret feature coming in the next Doors update? I mean, it is blurred out, but if we look really closely, we can see that... Okay. So, if you were all around for my previous video, you'd know that Doors was going to be participating in the Hatch event coming to Roblox, also known as Egg Hunt 2025. Well, in light of recent events, as well as other aspects of the Egg Hunt as a whole, the Doors developers decided to opt out and not participate. Now, although this may be disappointing to some, I do feel this decision was for the better, as the whole event was very flawed. We will discuss more into the decision later in this video, but we don't just have bad news to cover, as we also received a pretty massive new teaser for the next Doors update, featuring a very mysterious new button on the death screen. We have got a lot to cover in this video, so with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so to start, I think we should cover the Hatch news first, as that is definitely more serious, then move on to the new teaser. As you may be aware, a couple days ago, Doors announced that they will be participating in Roblox's newest Egg Hunt event titled The Hatch. However, only very recently, they have decided to opt out and not participate, and there are several completely reasonable factors which influenced their decision. They've outlined their entire explanation in their latest devlog post. However, I'll briefly summarize the key points here. For one, the event as a whole was extremely limiting. Unlike the Hunt events, developers could only make their eggs obtainable in less than 3 minutes, and it could have only been placed in the lobby of each game. This means it's pretty much impossible for high-quality in-game quests to be part of the Hatch, which is precisely what Doors specializes in, as shown with other events, such as their contribution to the Hunt. Additionally, the time constraints and lack of guidance from Roblox's part for specifically this event make it extremely difficult for developers to implement quests into their game as well. Furthermore, one of the largest reasons a lot of developers, including but not limited to the Doors developers, quit the event is because others who definitely shouldn't be allowed on the platform were invited. There is also a rumor going around, which does have some degree to be proven, that the Hatch focuses on generative AI, which a lot of people, including the Doors developers, are heavily against due to its lack of creativity. All in all, due to the actions of Roblox, as well as the structure of the event as a whole, it just isn't ideal in the slightest for developers to participate. Meaning the decision for Doors to opt out is completely justified. Now, in case any of you are worried about how this will impact the game, it won't, as the Garden subfloor update is completely separate from the Hatch event, and the event itself would have only added 3 minutes of new content, so nothing interesting was lost. Now, that was all of the news regarding Doors and the Hatch event, so I think we should move on to more lighter and exciting news with the new Doors update teaser. As I'd stated in the intro, the teaser mainly focuses on a new feature that, although was revealed to us, is blurred out, so it's very hard to make out what it actually is. This isn't the first time we've received a teaser like this, but it is one of the first times where I think I can confidently decipher what is being blurred out. Alright, so this is what the sneak peek as a whole looks like. It shows a player's death screen after dying to rush, and besides the obviously blurred out new button, there doesn't appear to be anything else that is new. So, this begs the question of what exactly this new button is, and I think I may have figured it out. Let's start by first analyzing what the text actually says. At first, this may seem a little tricky, but a good way I've found is to view the image when it is extremely far away or zoomed out, as that can trick our mind to fill in what the text could be. Doing this, I found that the first word here either says the or use, and the second word, without a doubt in my mind, says Lotus. This means extremely likely that this new button says use Lotus or the Lotus, which, although at face value doesn't make a lot of sense, actually connects a lot of previous teasers we have seen before. Now, for those unaware, a lotus is a type of pink flower. Does that ring any bells? Well, it definitely should, as a very important pink flower has been popping up time and time again throughout these daily teasers. Based on one of the previous sneak peeks, we know a new pink flower petal item is coming to the garden subfloor, and based on some concept sketches of new rooms in the subfloor, we know giant pink flowers are going to be implemented as well. At first, we weren't sure what these pink flowers and flower petals by extension were, but now we know from this new teaser they are likely aspects of the lotus flower. So we can put a name to this mysterious yet important new feature. Now, the Lotus Petal item specifically is believed to harness unique properties, most notably to buff items already present within the game, such as the bulb light and crucifix. This is why the crucifix appears pink and flower-themed in that one teaser. However, it is also believed it would act as a buff towards players. Yet, the method as to how was unknown. That is, until this teaser released. As with it, I think I can piece together how the item would impact players. Essentially, if we take a look at where this new UI button is located, it's next to the revive button on the death screen. This means whatever this lotus thing is, it likely is related to death, and possibly reviving. And there is only one feature I can think of which ties into both of those that could explain the presence of this new button, and that is a ghost mode. As you may know, after you die indoors, you will only have the option to spectate other players. However, how I'm assuming this Lotus Petal works is that after obtaining the item, it could be used to activate a ghost mode if you happen to die. What this would do is you would be able to freely walk around the room you died in. However, you would be unable to interact with the world around you, and it's likely other players wouldn't be able to see you, almost as if you were an actual ghost. This type of spectator game mode is pretty common among other games, and for a very long time I was wondering if it would actually be implemented into doors. Now, I think it does actually have a fair shot of being added through this new Use Lotus button on the death screen. However, just keep in mind that this is just a theory, but I genuinely don't know what else could be related to death that would comfortably explain what this button does. I highly doubt it's another revive, but I think this does have a fair shot of actually being the case. So, to summarize, due to a variety of factors such as poor management from Roblox's end, the Doors developers have decided to no longer participate in the upcoming Hatch event. Additionally, a new teaser reveals the name of the mysterious pink flower popping in and out of previous teasers to actually be a lotus flower, in that it's possible the Lotus Petal item found in the garden subfloor could be used to activate a ghost mode for players who have died, where they would be able to roam around the map without the ability to interact with anything. All in all though, it may be disappointing to some that Doors won't be in the Hatch, but I personally believe it is for the better as the event as a whole was doomed due to a variety of factors. As for the teaser, I'm excited to see how the Lotus will be implemented, as well as what other roles it will play. So with all of that being said, let me know in the comments what you think of this new teaser as well as Doors not being in the Hatch. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.